November 19th is Australian Gin Day, and as I'm quite the champion of Australian spirits, I thought I'd show off just a few of my favourite Australian gins. Starting with Threefold Distilling, run by YouTube legend Steve the Bartender and a couple of his pals. They have a great core range of gins. They also do a few special experimental ones, of which I have two. Their coconut gin and their Tangelo Cello, very fun drinks. Put them in place of a normal gin to liven a drink up. Possibly the best known Australian gin distillery internationally is Four Pillars. They're making big inroads around the world, winning a bunch of awards as well. Not least for this one, this is their Bloody Shiraz. They've actually put grapes into their gin and it's just a fantastic variation on a gin. Another distiller that has been winning awards around the world is Never Never. I love their stuff, and this is one of their more experimental ones, Beeswax and Olive Gin. They do core range gins as well. If you get a chance to get this one, this is another one you might be able to get around the world, and I would recommend it. Another of the bigger distilleries is Archie Rose in Sydney. Again, they have a great core range and they do special one-offs as well, like this one they call Bone Dry. Absolutely killer in a martini. A much smaller distillery that's about half an hour up the road from me is the Tiny Bear Distillery. They do good seasonal ones in the Australian summer. They do Christmas themed gins. This is their Navy Strength gin, part of their core range they call the Sailor. And as a bonus with Tiny Bear gins, you get a neat little bear mascot on the bottles as well. What's this? Another Navy Strength gin. Well, you don't want to run out of Navy Strength gin, do you? This is also a Victorian gin from the Great Ocean Road. It's actually the Great Ocean Road Distillery. They call it their Split Point. That's Navy Strength gin. They have a great range as well. And it's also a fun spot to go for a drive just outside Melbourne. And as a little bonus for this beautiful scenic ocean drive, you can drop in at the distillery as well. A lot of Australian distillers do variations on slow gin, so a fruity based gin or gin liqueur as well. Like this one from New South Wales, from the Byron Bay Distillery, Brookies. For a bit of a laugh, they call it their Slow S-L-O-W passion gin. This is a passion fruit slow S-L-O-E style gin. Very tasty. Yeah, they do normal gins as well, but this is a nice variation on the slow gin. Another fruity one from a distillery that has a core range of gins as well. This is another one that's only about half an hour away from me, but in a different direction. I'm surrounded by distilleries, poor me. This is Brogan's Way. This is their passion fruit gin. I really like when they get a bit experimental, and also actually like going to their cellar door, grabbing something to eat and some of their cocktails as well. This is another distillery that's in a scenic area in Melbourne, out on the Mornington Peninsula. This is the Bass and Flinders Distillery. They do brandies as well as gins. In this case, I've got one of their fruity ones they call Cerise Gin. A really nice drop and well worth enjoying. What they say, it's a mix of, it starts with an eau de vie and then they vapor infuse botanicals, including hibiscus, rosella, cherries, raspberries, and a hint of orange. They say this is reminiscent of Turkish Delight. Another very red gin. This one is from the Anther Distillery in Geelong, about an hour away from Melbourne. But this one's not grape, this is cherry. And I visited this distillery as well. Lovely people. They say they get all their friends around to pit just a huge amount of cherries for the season's cherry gin. And it looks like a murder scene when they're finished chopping up all the cherries. Sounds like fun, but it's a great gin as well. I could have easily put out gins from another 10 distilleries around Australia. There are literally hundreds of them. And while you may not be able to get these if you're outside of Australia, some of them you will be able to. And I 1000% recommend Australian gins whenever you can. Because with my spirit collection, I'm very focused on Australia. About 80% of my whiskies are Australian, 50% of my rums are Australian, somewhere between 30 and 50% of my liqueurs are Australian, but literally 100% of my gins are Australian. I just really can't conceive of getting them from anywhere else when there's so many good products on offer here. So if you're an Aussie, really check out the local scene. If you're international and you get a chance to get any of these or any other Australian gin, I really recommend giving it a try. And hey, also wherever you are, there's probably great local distilleries near you as well. Support local, I say. And I hope you get a chance to try one of these one day. And if you have ever had one, I'd love for you to tell me in the comments what you've had and what you thought of it. But whatever you're up to, whatever you're drinking, I hope you're taking care, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.